So they put me on a ward for the criminally insane. And there you weren't allowed to speak at all. You sat in a huge circle in rocking chairs. And these were probably the most violent people in the state of Washington. And a large bunch more were in chains. I wasn't. I was considered by the ward people a psychopath, so they let me do work in their clothing room and clean up the showers and things like that. I had a few privileges. But out front, we weren't allowed to speak at all. We just could read magazines. And the only time we were allowed to speak to each other was when we went outside on the porch for a smoke. And even though we were teenagers, everybody was allowed to smoke. We had your own cigarettes, and they'd dole them out. We had your name on your package. But because I was kind of a trustee, there were 4 or 5 of us. We'd go out on the porch, and we were scheming about how to get out of this place. Escape, in other words. And decided that we're going to take these metal clothes hangers and file them down the points and wrap them with cloth, use them as knives, and force the guards to let us out. So one of us, a guy named Richard Martin, he was under a hypnotherapy. And when the doctor talked to him, the first thing is get everything that's on your mind and bothering you off. And so immediately he told about the plot. And like I say, I was a teenager and he was, and the other guy, only other guy was older. He was about 21 years old. He's from Walla Walla, one of the, I don't know what you call them, problem people there. And so they decided to send us to a more secure institution over towards Spokane. It was the Eastern State Hospital. And boy, that was a nightmare. It was structured pretty much the same, though it was more violent. They used electroshock therapy as a torture, not as a treatment. They had various other tortures where they'd hang people from bars by their hands, by handcuffs. I was accused of trying to escape there, probably carried over from my recent thing. There was no escape plan at all. We were complaining about what was going on there. And I guess it happened right after I talked to a doctor. I passed a note to a doctor who came up there every day to check on his patients. And I was telling him that people were being tortured and beaten there. And he called me in and he talked to me and told me, "You have no rights, you're crazy." This is a doctor from Iran. I remember that. And he was kind of, what do you call those, an intern type doctors, yeah. He said, "You have no rights, you're crazy." And when he left, they took me and put me in a bed with no springs on it. They cuffed my feet to the bottom of the bed. These were hospital beds. They put me in a straitjacket, so my arms were crossed like this, and ran a sheet under my arms, behind my neck, down and under this arm, tied it to each side of the bedpost, and then they'd pull. And when they pull, it raised me up off the springs, and they'd beat me in the stomach with a hose. And this happened to me and 2 other guys. And of course, there's a lot of pain and a lot of screaming. And then finally, I was so numb, there was no pain, and it just cuts them out. And they'd come in and ask if I had enough, and I told them no. Of course, I'm being kind of whacked out. And they'd beat me some more, and then pull it tighter and raise me up. And this one guy is a prisoner they used, it's called. His name was Willie Moore. He had killed patients for them. Problem patients, when we'd go to the mess hall down 2 floors below, they'd leave him up there and leave the door open, and he'd go and strangle him. He was later killed in Walla Walla. He went to Walla Walla. Some people killed him down there. But that was when I figured authority figures were not on my side. People I depended on to protect me, in a sense, were not on my side.